Severe weather in the South kills several, massive vaccine clinic on the OU campus, and Biden's reaction to Georgia voting laws. OU Nightly starts now. Hello, thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm McKenzie Gladney.
And I'm Jessie Klinger. We begin tonight with the massive effort to get COVID vaccines to OU students, faculty, and staff. It's all happening at the Armory here on campus as OU Nightly's Lauren Johnson tells us there's still time to get your shot tonight.
OU Health Services and Health Science Center are hosting a large vaccination clinic at the Armory. Students from the colleges of medicine, pharmacy, nursing, and dentistry are giving majority of the shots. They're planning on giving out 3,000 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. This room is going to be filled with OU students and faculty ready to get their COVID-19 vaccine. OU Chief COVID Officer Dr. Bratzler says he wanted to have a large event to give another opportunity to those who still needed a vaccine. He also says it's very important for college students to get vaccinated.
Throughout this pandemic, I've talked about young people have been the engine of the pandemic. They've been the group that's been most commonly infected and can spread it to other people. They don't get nearly as sick. That's very true.
He says every dose that is given out is a step closer to herd immunity.
There's two ways to get to herd immunity. One way is to get there through natural infections. So people who have had COVID do have some immunity. The second way is with vaccine. We actually know now that when you get vaccinated, you have higher antibody levels. In other words, it's even more important in terms of reducing the complications of the disease.
Having this large clinic is one step to getting back to normal. Dr. Bratzler says the next thing to think about is bringing the vaccine inside the community for those who don't have access to the internet or capability to a pharmacy or large vaccine clinic like this one, and getting the vaccine into doctors' offices. To get your vaccine today, make an appointment online through health services at ou.edu/healthservices. Lauren Johnson, OU Nightly.
The clinic is open until 8 p.m. tonight, so book your appointment and get vaccinated.
As more of those vaccines are administered, the number of COVID cases in Oklahoma continues to decline. The Oklahoma State Health Department reports 467 new cases of COVID in the state today, and right now there are just under 11,000 active cases. The CDC says around 7,700 Oklahomans have died from COVID.
At least 5 deaths are confirmed in Calhoun County, Alabama after yesterday's tornadoes. 14 different tornadoes were reported, including one that traveled nearly 100 miles on the ground. More than 50,000 residents in Georgia and Alabama were without power during the storms. In addition to the severe weather, flash flood warnings hit Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, and Tennessee. Research meteorologist Dan Weber explains how your cell phone can keep you safe.
Our smartphones now can tell us where the location is. And the smartphones also can get information from the National Weather Service, radar data. And there's lots of nice apps out there on the web that you can put on your phone and that you can understand where your location is with respect to the storm. And then they can put motion, like you would see like the past data, and it would show where the storm is moving to.
Storms are expected to continue in the impacted areas with hail and possibly more tornadoes.
Emma Landeros has a closer look at the impact of those tornadoes.
She's live at the National Weather Center. Emma, a very busy weather day yesterday.
Yeah, thanks. I'm out here live right now in front of the National Weather Center where many stayed for busy hours tracking the severe storms that we had over towards the east of Oklahoma. We have had 23 confirmed tornadoes. Many suffered from tornado and hail damage. In that image you can see there, courtesy by Ginger Z on ABC News, you see many still continuing to suffer through these damages, but thankfully here in Oklahoma, we didn't suffer through any severe weather. In fact, we actually warmed up quite a bit in the past 24 hours. Many of us have warmed up between 15 to 15 to 20 degree temperature change. So it's definitely a beautiful day, all thanks to those southerly winds we've been feeling. Many of us are seeing winds from between 20 to 30 miles per hour. It's definitely a windy day out there, but thankfully it's warm. Later on, Reece is going to tell you a little bit more about the rain chances we're going to have tomorrow, your above average temperatures we could be seeing, and of course your clear weekend ahead. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Emma. Georgia put a new voting law into effect that gives state-level officials total authority over county election boards. This allows red-dominated state governments to potentially disqualify voters in blue-leaning areas. Food and water is prohibited for voters waiting in line, and an ID is required for absentee ballots. President Biden gives his statement on the action. Three voting advocacy groups have sued Georgia officials over a new law.
Hope for those behind bars is becoming a reality thanks to a well-known Oklahoma company. Nirali Jayswal shows us how Hobby Lobby is making a big difference in prison reform.
Oklahoma has the largest incarceration rate in the nation, but an Oklahoma-based business is attacking the problem with a multi-million grant. Hobby Lobby partners with Prison Fellowship to bring joy and hope to those who are incarcerated.
Having an organization, a company as large as Hobby Lobby, interested in investing in this issue in their state has been tremendous.
The investment will help Prison Fellowship to achieve successful justice outcomes, focusing on the rising rates of women incarceration.
The real accomplishment is you want them to know that the Father loves them, that God loves them. So we come in and you want to be openly honest about how valuable they are and how important they are to God.
Like an episode, and because you got locked up, you thought it was over. And I come to tell you today, your story is to be continued. People watched the last episode, but they didn't see the season finale.
Hobby Lobby believes in restoration through faith. This allows Prison Fellowship to dive deep in the matter in Oklahoma.
I know the name of it was Hope, and it gave me hope, and I think it gave a lot of the guys here tonight hope, to let us know this is not the end, this is the beginning.
Hobby Lobby and Prison Fellowship will continue to be an active voice for prison reform in Oklahoma. Nirali Jayswal, OU Nightly.
Hobby Lobby says its company's core values are supported through this grant.
And a company that makes technology for voting machines is suing Fox News for more than $1 billion. And this is not the first technology company to sue Fox News.
Plus, the Biden administration is starting to talk about climate and making plans. The world's major economies are planning to meet next month. Stick with us for more.
Welcome back. Dominion Voting System is suing Fox News for defamation. They claim the conservative channel participated in a disinformation campaign against it during the 2020 election and is asking for $1.6 billion. Dominion stated allies of former President Donald Trump, including Fox News, promoted conspiracy theories about Dominion to support Trump's claims that the election was rigged. A Fox spokesperson said that the network will vigorously defend against the baseless lawsuit.
A huge meeting is coming up for the Biden administration. Grace Whitten joins us in the News Center with more about global climate plans. Grace?
Jessie, the Biden administration is planning its first big climate talks. The meeting will include leaders of the world's major economies, and among the countries invited are China and Russia. Now, back in 2017, President Donald Trump pulled America out of the UN Paris Climate Agreement, which makes next month's summit the first major international climate discussion by an American leader in over 4 years. President Joe Biden is expected to announce a more aggressive U.S. emissions target, hoping other countries will join in. The talks will be held virtually next month. Lawmakers visited border processing facilities today in Texas. Now, this comes during the current border crisis surge of unaccompanied children who critics say are being housed in poor conditions. Now, the Biden administration did not allow the media to attend the tours, but several lawmakers have detailed the overcrowded facilities.
I saw it in their faces. They're tired, but they're so still scared. And it's so important for us to be able to, again, understand that these are children. These are children.
Congress people have said they are hoping to make changes soon. Hundreds of people are facing charges related to COVID relief programs. Investigators found more than $500 million taken from COVID relief by fraud. So far, 120 people have been charged for targeting the Paycheck Protection Program, and 140 people have been charged for unemployment insurance fraud. And justice officials are currently preparing for another round of fraud cases with a new COVID relief package being rolled out. McKenzie and Jessie, the trial for Derek Chauvin, the police officer that knelt on George Floyd's neck, will begin this coming Monday with opening arguments. Back to you.
Thanks, Grace. McKenzie, losing can be tough, but the impact one has on a community can be much greater. After the break, we'll tell you how a community came together to honor a school janitor who does so much more than clean.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. Plenty of sunshine out there today in Oklahoma City, sunny and 75 degrees. It has been a gorgeous day out there, especially considering the start of the week was cooler and a little gloomier, but we have those southerly winds out of the south bringing up all of this warmer air. And across the state, again, mid-70s for almost everyone. Guyman a little cooler out there with 69 degrees, but again, a beautiful day, and this is a sign of things to come for the weekend ahead. These warmer temperatures in the past 24 hours have brought up that warmer air from the south again, and that's going to be sticking around throughout the whole weekend. But as we get into next week, we're going to be in the upper 60s, and we're going to dip all the way down to 56 before we're going back up into the 60s for next week. You see this average line right here, 63 up to 64 into the middle of next week. We got this cold front coming through this weekend. It's going to cool our temps a little bit, but the moral of this story is going to be with a little bit of rain chances. You can see right here that division line between the southerly winds and the northerly winds along the I-44 corridor. That's going to be the highest chances for rain as we head into this weekend. But as that pushes on through, we're going to have those northerly winds cooling our temps a little bit, and then we're going to have a couple of high pressure systems settle in this area for the middle of next week, and that's going to bring us the calm weather pattern that we've been looking for. And with that, we're going to have those rain chances again this weekend. You can see this line of showers is going to set up Saturday afternoon into evening, and then we're going to be pulling all of that out to the east for us. And we have a little bit of thunder chances for us with the severe weather. And the lows tonight in the 50s, 30s out in the Panhandle. But for the 7-day forecast, beautiful sunny weekend, 69 and sunny on Monday. And we're going to have a beautiful week to start out, except for a slight chance of rain on Tuesday. Ladies, back to you.
Thanks. After the head custodian of a North Carolina elementary school didn't win a state award, families created one.
Raymond Brown was surprised by a community gathering to honor him with a $35,000 check, calling it the famous Amos Award. The award is named after a student named Amos who has autism. Amos's mom rallied the community to give their own award.
Now we're wrapping up the news portion of OU Nightly,
but we still have Big Friday sports coming up right after the break.
You know what that intro means, ladies and gentlemen? It's time for Big Friday Sports. I'm Sydney Baulier.
And I'm Kaleigh Tingelstad. We begin with coverage on OU basketball head coach Lon Kruger's retirement.
Kruger held a press conference this morning to open up on his time spent at Oklahoma and his reason for retiring. Big Friday Sports reporter Kemper was in on the Zoom call and has the story. Sorry for the technical difficulties, and some more breaking news from OU basketball. Davion Harmon surprised Sooner Nation with news that he's declaring for the 2021 NBA draft.
The sophomore guard announced he is moving on to the pros after being a huge contributor on the team's season. Many fans were expecting to see Harmon be an asset to next year's squad.
The OU football spring game is coming up, and now we know exactly when we can see the boys play.
The athletic department announced that the game will kick off on April 24th at 4 p.m. The Gaylord Memorial Stadium will welcome 25% capacity that day, and students will be a part of the fun too.
That's right, students can try to claim a free student ticket online on April 19th. It will be a treat for fans after last year's spring game was canceled due to COVID-19.
And baseball is down south right now, visiting our foes across the Red River. They open up Big 12 conference play with a 3-game series against number 9 ranked Texas starting tonight at 7 p.m. The team hasn't played Big 12 opponents since 2019. Last season's conference schedule was canceled because of the pandemic.
And Iowa State, watch out because the #1 ranked OU softball team is in town. The team is only 1 game shy of the best opening record in program history. Right now, they're sitting undefeated with 22 wins. The first pitch was fired off not too long ago at 4 p.m. Currently, the Sooners are up 5-2 in the 4th inning.
And maybe the baseball team will make a stop by the Mike Myers track in Austin to cheer on the OU track and field team during their last days of Texas relays. Caroline Grace has an update on how the team is doing so far.
Hey, what's up, team? It definitely is a good day for Big Friday sports here in Austin. It's the 3rd day of the Texas Relays. I'm here with head coach Tim Langford. Coach, what are you pleased with so far?
I'm really excited about our field events, the way we started the meet. We picked up right where we left off from the indoor championships. I'm really excited about just how the team has come together. If you look from the high jump to the women's pole vault, to our throws, everybody stepped up. We see top 5, top 10 finishes all over the board, now we just got to match that with what we're doing on the track.
Okay, let's talk about that men's 4x1 relay. We were out to a really good start. We were first in the heat, and then in that 3rd handoff, something went wrong. Can you explain to us what happened?
Yes, we have a new group together, so we have to learn new exchanges, get new steps. The step was a little off, the mark was a little off, and which puts us a little farther in the zone than we really wanted to be. We're going to go back, adjust that mark, and we were ahead in the race by over 15 meters when that happened. So I'm looking forward to it. I know we can fix it, and we'll make it right. Our women are in the final, so our men will join them really soon.
All right, thank you, Coach. And guys, we still have 1 full day left here in Austin, but for now, I'm Caroline Grace. Back to you guys in the studio.
Still to come on Big Friday Sports, there's only 16 teams left in the Big Dance. We'll be breaking down some of the must-see matchups.
And wait until you see this. An unlikely runner punched his ticket to the Tokyo Games. Stay tuned to see the story.
Welcome back to Big Friday Sports with your Oklahoma Rowcast. Oklahoma rowing women's team plays off against Kansas tomorrow morning. 52 degrees, warming up into the mid-60s with plenty of sunshine. Those southerly winds again bringing us that warmer, milder weather for this time of year. But at 8 a.m. tomorrow when they start their rowing races, and that's going to go all the way till about noon, it's going to be a beautiful forecast for them to get out there. Ladies, back to you.
Head coach Lon Kruger held a press conference this morning to open up on his time spent at Oklahoma and his reason for retiring. Big Friday Sports reporter Kemper was in on the Zoom call and has the story.
After 10 seasons in Norman, Lon Kruger is calling it a career.
He became not just one of us, but in many ways, and I said it about Sherry, a critical part of the heartbeat of our programs.
Throughout his career, Kruger coached 5 separate teams to the NCAA tournament, finding success both on the court and off.
And the people that we've had the opportunity to meet and develop relationships with over those 50 years is about basketball and because of basketball, and we're so grateful to so many different people.
With nearly 700 total career wins and 2 Final Four appearances, there's little doubt that Lon Kruger is one of college basketball's all-time greats. But those accomplishments are dwarfed by the relationships that he had and the impact that he had on his players.
If you're looking at quantifying someone's career and trying to determine Hall of Fame, we know that's happened. But he is a Hall of Fame person.
And we've been so fortunate to be around great people and people we enjoy.
As his career defined by relationships comes to a close, his legacy will always go far beyond wins and losses.
When people leave Oklahoma as a player, regardless of sport, I mean, they are Sooners for life, and they are appreciative, and they know how special it was here. And I think players and student athletes come to realize that shortly after they're here, that this is a special place, and people here are special, and the leadership's special, and they appreciate that.
He may have coached at other schools, but Lon Kruger will always be a Sooner. Kemper Ball, OU Nightly.
Lon Kruger finishes his Oklahoma career with 195 wins, making him the 4th most in OU history.
And the madness continues tomorrow with 2 teams that probably aren't in your bracket, Oregon State and Loyola Chicago. After that, the 1-seeded Baylor Bears will battle 5th seed Villanova. They'll break another bracket with Oral Roberts taking on Arkansas. Saturday's games will conclude with the Big Orange Syracuse and the Houston Cougars.
Creighton and Gonzaga will kick off Sunday at 1:10. Following that, the Seminoles will take on the 1-seed Michigan. Then the UCLA Bruins will work to stop the Tide when they play Alabama. Oregon and USC will be the last game of the Sweet 16 and reveal the 2021 Elite Eight.
After a busy deadline day in the NBA, the OKC Thunder return to the court tomorrow night to take on the Boston Celtics.
SGA will still be out due to his foot injury, and with George Hill no longer on the roster, rookie point guard Madelon Could will be in for a long night. Tip time for the East-West matchup is set at 8 p.m. on Saturday.
And after an active day of trades in the NBA yesterday, it was the NFL's turn. Stay with us here. The San Francisco 49ers traded with the Dolphins for the 3rd overall pick in the draft in exchange for the 12th pick and some additional future selections.
Miami then quickly flipped that for a future pick for the Eagles' 6th pick. San Fran claims they're sticking with Jimmy G, but those trades make those words a bit questionable.
And earlier today, an average runner shocked himself along with the world.
Christopher Thompson won the British Olympic Marathon Trials this morning at age 39.
I just rode what I had, and I was running on cloud 9. The last 2 laps, I can't. I feel like someone's going to tell me this didn't happen. This is a dream. Seriously,
Chris, after
I'm
so
39. I'm 39 for crying out loud. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen.
That is just amazing. He beat his previous marathon time by 10 minutes, which is absolutely unreal.
I can't wait to see how he does competing with the great at the Olympics. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Catch us back here next Friday at 4:30 for more sports news.
Good night.